Brenda Ringwood, and I am your host for the Becoming the Best You TV talk show. This isn't any ordinary TV talk show. It is a show about becoming the best version of yourself. The change is possible if you really want it. We share stories about ordinary people doing extraordinary things, sharing encouragement, hope, and perseverance of overcoming from people from all walks of life who are doing wonderful things. It is our hope that the things they have struggled to overcome will encourage you to step up and do the things that you want to do in life. To step out and be heard. Don't let your past stop you. Don't let fear and doubt and what others say get in the way of your happiness. Stay tuned as we share amazing stories in hopes that your dreams will unfold. And remember to always put your crown on. Wear that crown, because only you rule your kingdom.
Now, are you ready for our next speaker, Anthony?
I thought you were going to ask if we were ready for some football, which it's getting close to that time. Anyways, guys, would you say fantasy draft?
Fantasy draft, yeah.
I don't do fantasy drafts. Huh.
I thought you did everything in fantasy. I'm sorry.
I don't even have time to go to the bathroom. All right, let's go ahead and go to our next speaker. I'm excited to introduce her. Tracie Randolf is coming up next. She is a mom, breast cancer survivor, certified health coach, personal trainer, best-selling international author, speaker, as you're about to see, and she's got a passion for health, nutrition, fitness, and overall holistic wellness, which came from her own struggles with breast cancer. She perceives having cancer as one of the most amazing events that happened in her life, leading her to find her purpose towards others and helping others find their optimal health. And she, as a health coach, was a mission to help women leaders become lean, fit, and forever feeling sexy by resetting that mindset to transform the body. And as I said, international author, 4-time author, ladies and gentlemen, Tracie Randolf.
Hey, how are you? That was a great introduction. Thank you so much for that.
Well, the floor is yours. I am excited to hear you speak, Tracie, and have fun.
Thank you so much. All right, listen, everybody. I am so glad to be here. Thank you for this opportunity, to Brenda, to Terrence, to Anthony. This is amazing. The speakers have been amazing. So I want to talk to you. I want to say, don't judge a book by its cover. And I know that sounds cliche, but listen, cars, mansions, yachts, private jets, bling jewelry, an hourglass figure, six-pack abs, and millions. You may see success measured on social media or reality TV by these images, but how do you measure success for yourself? If these images are your goals, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But how would you like to look and feel when you attain these goals? Imagine this. The Porsche is in the garage collecting dust because you aren't well enough to drive it. That jet is fueled up and ready to take off to a destination of your choice, but you're unable to fly because you're ill. Your bank accounts are full with the financial resources to do whatever you desire, but you don't have the mental or the emotional or the physical capacity to utilize it. Would you still consider yourself successful? Now let's turn that page. Anthony was just talking about football, so think about Tom Brady for a moment. One of football's greatest quarterbacks. He's 45 years young, still playing football by choice. Besides the obvious physical fitness drills he has to endure in football, he is also on an anti-inflammatory diet. Now listen, his diet is free of sugar, gluten, dairy, soy, alcohol, processed foods, and some others. But Brady claims that his diet boosts his energy, prevents bone injuries, enhances his athletic performance, and increases his recovery time. He credits his diet as part of his success. Taking care of his body affords him the choice of longevity in a career that on average players retire at the age of 35. He is now 10 years past that average age. So let's turn that page again. When interviewed Right before her 99th birthday, Betty White attributed her health and staying healthy to being active. And wellness, if you may not know this, but wellness is active. You have to move, you have to get out there and do in order for you to be well. She said that treating herself to some of the things she liked, such as vodka and hot dogs, not so healthy, but that was her time to indulge when she desired. She said having a sense of humor and staying busy doing what she loved is what kept her healthy and vibrant at the age of 99. She continued working up until the day she transitioned. And even in the final chapter, she was living a life of health and success on her own terms. Now let's go to the next page. Remember not to judge a book by its cover. Anthony gave you my bio. When I was a corporate executive, I considered myself successful. I had the financial resources to do what I desired. I was taking care of my son, his necessities and his wants, paying bills, shopping, which I loved, traveling, which I loved, and I was able to help my family. With that success, though, came stressful deadlines, demands of my time, and my body. I wasn't living a life meaningful with purpose and fulfillment. I was living by society's definition of success. I thought being skinny meant being healthy because I was skinny all my life, but boy, was I wrong. In the earlier chapters of my life, I ate what I wanted and never gained a pound. My food was loaded with butter and sugar and fat. Definitely not Tom Brady's diet, right? I exercised when the mood hit me, and I worked long, stressful hours. And to add to that stress, I became pregnant and almost instantly became a single mom. Now, listen, that's another book entirely. However, my point in telling you all of this is that I wasn't focused on taking care of me. I was focused on work, and I was focused on my son, and I was focused on my family. But I wasn't focused on taking care of me. I didn't even think I needed to be concerned with taking care of myself because remember, I thought skinny meant being healthy. But that wasn't the case. So those deadlines and those demands and that lack of healthy habits that I had ultimately led me to a breast cancer diagnosis, which forced me to change my lifestyle and how I viewed health and wellness. I began researching the importance of a healthy diet and exercise and its short-term and long-term effects on my health, along with fostering a healthy mindset to assist in my transition. But I still couldn't believe that I wasn't healthy because, again, I thought skinny meant being healthy. And I was really going crazy trying to figure out what made this happen. But it really ultimately came down to my lifestyle. And I didn't want this to be my final chapter for sure. So as I was doing my research, I started to just change my life. And I started to live kind of like Betty White, but also combining that with that Tom Brady method as well. So I changed my measurement of success. Today, having the ability to do what I love, but even better yet, feeling good doing it. I am 51 years young and I feel better than I did when I was in my 20s. And I have to tell you, because of my regimen now, being able to eat healthy and exercise, my body looks better than it did at the age of 20 as well. This is now how I measure success. I began building my mind and my body and my spirit to have the energy, the strength, the clarity, the stamina, the endurance to live a meaningful, fulfilled, purposeful, and healthy life. That's what I now call success. So remember that wellness is active. In order for you to be at your best and live your best life, that's what this is all about, and be healthy and successful in doing it, you have to incorporate some things into your routine. So listen, I want you to consider having a morning ritual one that gives you peace and clarity to start your day. Because if you heard the young man James before this, he was talking about the mindset, and so did Andy for that matter. So you need a morning ritual. You want to make sure that you're getting up to do something that gives you that clarity and that peace before you get moving. So that could be prayer, meditation, listening to music, reading a book, and working out. Make sure that you exercise. But the other thing I want you to do is change your diet. Much like Tom Brady. Now, I know that his diet sounds pretty strict, but if you can incorporate that 80 to 90% of the time, you'll have that room to indulge like Betty White did. So drink your water, eat healthy, whole foods. If you don't know what the ingredients are, I would say don't get it. All right. And live your life to the fullest, unapologetically, just like Betty White. I mean, look at her final chapter was at 99 years old, and she was still active and still in her right mind and still working. I want you to do what fills your heart with joy and laughter, because that also helps with the mindset. And then I want you to take everything in your life and I want you to look at it as a positive and not a negative. Even if it's in a challenge, try to find the blessing in all situations, because it really is for your improvement, for your learning, for you to get better. So listen, if you're not done writing your story, if you can write the pages and add to your story, I want you to give yourself the ability to continue to turn the pages and thrive until you get to that final chapter. So if I could leave you with anything about your life and you living that successful lifestyle that you want, even if you want those mansions and those private jets, you want the cars, whatever that may be, you need to live healthy to be able to enjoy all the things that you want. So think about how you measure success. Make sure that you are living in a healthy body so that you can enjoy the life that you desire and live a life of fulfillment and meaning for you.
I love it. I love it. Thank you guys. This is Tracie Randolph here on the Becoming the Best You conference. And Tracie,
Yeah.
we're hearing a common theme amongst our speakers today, becoming the best version of yourself from a health standpoint. And you mentioned something about asking us how we measure success. So how do
Mhm.
you measure success in your own life and in your own health journey now after going through some of the things that you talked about?
Now, really being waking up in the morning, honestly, right? Being able to wake up and feel good, having energy and just endurance. And that's really important to me. I have a 15-year-old son who keeps me busy. So being able to keep up with him is a great thing. So that's success for me now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's great. You know, I got a chance to see you a couple of months ago doing your MC thing at the Power of We Symposium, and yes, you were looking good, feeling good, and definitely living your best life. And so we're thankful that you took some time out today to come share that with us on the Becoming the Best You conference. Now, I want you to tell us how we can get in contact with you if we want to get more information about the things you've talked about today, or if we want to book you for another speaking engagement at another event.
Absolutely. Well, you can reach me at my email is tracyr at theresetglobal.com, or I am on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn as Tracie Randolph or the Reset Coach.
Well, thank you so much. This is the Reset Coach. Anthony, did you want to add anything before we let the Reset Coach go relax?
No, I love the I mean I loved hers and Andy's. I like the idea because we talk a lot about becoming strong in mind and how to start changing our life, getting unstuck, all of that. And I think that one of the biggest areas we neglect is our health, and that was a big change I made earlier this year. Was I'm like I'm about to turn 40. I got to get back in shape. And I remember, maybe I'll say it later, but I heard somebody speaking that I respect, and they're like, I wouldn't go to war with any of you right now. And I was like, oh, oh man, I got to drop some LBs. And it really is just the idea. And it's not just about dropping weight. It's about the idea of clearing your mind and getting that space and putting your body in an optimal position. And a lot of times, if we don't take care of this temple, we're not ready to take on the task that our brain is going to try to do to overcome challenges. So I loved your messaging. I think it's perfect. I think it's fitting, and it strengthens our mind.
Thanks so much. I appreciate
Corey
that.
Fox says, developing optimal personal existence. That's how you live a dope life. I think he got some of our training. Okay, but
I
yes.
like that. I like that.
Yes, absolutely. So we're going to give
That
Corey
sounds
credit
like a
for that.
speech.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll give him credit for it 3 times and then it's ours. But thank you so much, Tracie. We appreciate you. We're going to ask you to, once you leave the stage, to go ahead and just make sure we got your information correct in the comments so people can get in contact with you. And again, thank you for being a part of Becoming the Best You.
Thank you. Thank you so
Good
much.
job.
Thank you both.
Take it easy. All right.
Hi, this is Dean Storr with Dean Storr Coaching, Training, and Speaking Team. Looking forward to helping you today on this teaching that I'm going to do. And it's going to really help you if you really stay tuned in and all the way to the end. It's only going to be about 5 to 7 minutes, okay? But if you're here looking at this, you're here for a reason, because you're interested. You're looking for an answer, you're looking for a solution, you're looking for something, a purpose in life, or whatever it might be. I guarantee you this, you watch this section, this teaching piece that I'm going to do, and it'll revolutionize you and change your life. Who am I? I'm Professor Mindshift. What do? I'm a mind shift professor. And so let's get started, all right? I want to talk about the mind. Now, you and I think in pictures, yes? If I have to ask you to get a picture of your front yard, your garage, your refrigerator, your car, whatever it is, a picture comes in and then one leaves, and another one comes in and one leaves. We think in pictures. If I ask you to get a picture of your mind, what would pop up? Now, the majority of people in my audiences, who I work with, they'll say my mind or my brain. Well, see, your mind or your brain is no more part of the mind. Your brain or they'll be blank, right? And so what happens is if you're trying to figure out how to transform your mind, right? Like what Paul says in Romans 12:2, how do I transform? Don't be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of the mind. We have to have an image to work with, right? Because nobody's ever seen the mind. It's an invisible piece of you. It's the breath. It's the spirit. It's the essence of who you are. So Dr. Thurman Fleet in 1934 developed an image of the mind. It's just an image because he was trying to get his patients from point A to point B. And he found that it took them forever to get there. And once they got there, what happened, this is no lie, 80 to 90%, right, would rubber band back to A. Why would they go back to A when they were doing so well? You hear people smoking cigarettes and all of a sudden they quit smoking or on a diet or whatever, and the next thing you know they're going back to the same thing. What happens is they come back here. Why? Even a drug addict, think about that. Even a drug addict will come back to this place because they know it. It's safe. It's comfortable. It's like putting on an old pair of jeans. Even though it's killing you, you'll come back to this place. So Dr. Thurman Fleet in 1934, he developed an image to work with, the mind, okay? And how he developed it, he called it the stick person. Now, every time when I do this, people kind of chuckle because this is the stick person. This is going to represent the mind. This is going to represent the body. And they laugh because the mind or the head is so much bigger than the body, and the guy's going to fall over it, right? And so here we go. We're gonna not focus on the physical because that's really what we've been focusing on most of our lives. If you think about it, here's something that'll shift your thinking. That my hand is not solid. The floor that I'm standing on is not solid. If you look under a microscope of my hand, it's a bunch of molecules. If you look under a more powerful microscope, it's a dance of energy. Everything that's going on around us, it's an ocean of motion. Everything is deteriorating. Everything is changing. And so if you think about it, that's why we're going to take our focus off of the body, and we're going to shift up here to the mind. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut the mind in half. This is the conscious mind. This is the subconscious mind. This is where we have the ability to think. This is where our free will is. Okay? This is where we wish, and nothing happens here. This is where we can come up with thousands of ideas sitting on a couch, but never move. Yeah? And so if you think about it, this part of our mind is our feeling or our emotional mind. This is where our self-image is. Yeah? This part of our mind is conditioned. This is where our fixed habits are. Now think about this. I'm going somewhere. This part of our mind is where our belief systems are. Okay? And the thing is this really listen to what I'm saying, because this stuff changes your life. Don't just nonchalantly, really pay attention. Take some notes. This part of your mind, here it comes, this part of your mind cannot distinguish between what is truth and what is imagined. It just accepts it. It accepts it. It comes in here and it just says, you know, that's what you want? Okay, well, let's adjust it and do this, whatever. That part of your mind cannot distinguish between what is truth and imagined. It just accepts it. When I was growing up, I was stupid. That's what I believed. I was dumb. So let's do this. We're going to put a phone at the top of this, and we're going to put this word power. Okay? Now, this word power, I have 3 types of people in my audience. So I'm going to let you off the hook today. Okay? Because I would call this power God, because I'm a Christian. Now, scientists would call that power energy. A spiritualist would call that power source. So whatever you want to call it, that's totally up to you. But I call it God. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to think of an idea. Right? Think of an idea. Do you want? What do you want? You want a stronger business? You want to double your income? Do you want to have a better relationship? What is it that you truly want? And then as you think about that idea, let's just say for fun, because most people can kind of focus in on money. I mean, it's just an easier thing to look at. Some people, real estate people, will say, I don't want to focus in on money. I want to focus in on maybe helping 100 people by the end of the year. I said, well, that's good. So if you want to do that, put 100 people at the end of the year. That's your idea. Or if you want to double your income, or let's say you want to make $350,000 or whatever it is that you want. Here's the kicker. When you get emotionally involved in an idea, and the way you're going to do that is you're going to ask yourself this question. Let's do it in red because that way you can see it. You're going to ask yourself this question is, why? Why do I want a stronger family? Why do I want a bigger business? Why do I want to double my income? Why do I want to move to another country? Why do I want to move to another state? Right? Think about that. Why? This is what happens when you ask yourself why and you really start to peel it back. Because see here, if I ask you the question why do I want to double my income? Well, so I can pay my bills and maybe go to the beach or, you know, this and that. I would ask you again why. And then as you tell me again, well, you know, I want to spend more time with my family. You know, I want to spend more time with my wife. And then I would ask you why. And you would get to a point where if you ask me why one more time, I'm going to smack you. But I'll tell you what, as you peel this back, and you ask yourself why, this is what you're going to discover. It's going to discover your purpose. Right? It's going to discover your purpose. Why you're on this planet. And the other thing what happens is when you begin to develop your why, it comes down here, you get emotionally involved in an idea. Remember, this is the feeling part of your mind. This is when things shift. Because see, this is where your self-image is. There's part of your self-image that is dark, and there's a part of your self-image that is light. And when you begin to understand this concept, and understand that you will never, ever outperform your self-image until you learn how to change it. Let me say that again, because it's worth repeating and it's worth writing down. You will never outperform your self-image until you learn how to change it. Now, here's the thing that happens. You get involved in this emotional idea, right? You get emotionally involved in this idea, and you begin to say to yourself, I'm going to give my subconscious part of my mind marching orders. Because you remember, this part of your mind cannot distinguish between what is truth and what is imagined. It just accepts it. So when you get involved in your why, and you begin to act, here's one of those things you want to write down. When you begin to act as if you're already in possession of what you want. See the new car. See the doubling income. See the stronger relationships. Whatever it is. When you act as if you're already in possession of what you want, it begins to change things. It begins to shift the energy. It begins to come down here. All of a sudden, your self-image begins to change. So your thoughts create a feeling that sets up a vibration. When you think about a vibration, you think about energy. Remember, we're energy, right? And you think about a vibration, you think about energy, you think about, what do you call it? A radio is a sending and receiving station. A phone is a sending and receiving station. If you look at yourself as a sending and receiving station, the very energy that is leaving you by law, when you understand the laws of the universe, the laws that govern this power, all of a sudden, when you get in harmony with those laws, things begin to happen. So as you begin to understand that as you begin to change your energy, this energy, the very energy that is leaving you by law, right? It's like the law of gravity, the law of cause and effect, on and on and on. By law, the same energy that you gave out is coming back to you exactly the same. Okay, this is what happens. Your thoughts create a feeling that sets up a vibration that moves your body into action. That produces results. That's really what we want to see. We want to see different results. We want to see our life changed. But what happens? What happens is this part of our subconscious part of our mind, this here is the operating system. This is how you turn on a light and shut off a light. Until this is changed, this will never change. So this is what I do. Sometimes I'll ask people, if you're going to change and get better results, where would you start in this model? Where would you start? And salespeople normally will shout out, it'll shout out right here. Action. If I just make more phone calls. If I just make more phone calls, all of a sudden it's going to... No. Because this here, you're just going to continue to do same thing over and over and over again. Right? Some people say, well, I got to change my self-image. Well, how do you change your self-image? How do I change the vibration that is leaving me with the vibration that I want to come back? You remember, I'm going to give you the answer today. Act as if you're already in possession of what you want. Act as if you're already in possession of what you want. All of a sudden, as you begin to emotionally get involved in this idea and you begin to understand your why that discovers your purpose, all of a sudden it comes down here and you give your subconscious part of your mind marching orders and your self-image begins to change and your life begins to change. You look at yourself, I'm an author, I'm a teacher, I'm a coach, I'm a speaker, whatever it is that you want. All of a sudden things begin to shift and things begin to happen and your vibration changes. And as your vibration changes, that energy coming back to you is the same. And all of a sudden now you're getting things that you want because you're in harmony with the laws of the universe. I would love to talk to you about the psycho-cybernetics book by Maxwell Maltz. It's phenomenal, but I don't have the time today. Maybe in another teaching session I'll do that. But thank you so much for showing up. And hopefully this got some ideas to where you can really begin to move forward and change the way you live and change your life, change your relationships. This is Dean Storr with the Dean Storr Coaching and Training Team. Professor Mindshift saying thanks.